want to talk about things like knife crime. They want to talk about gun crime. But for me, that's like you've gone to the more serious side, or I should say, you've gone to the extreme side of violence. Before you pick up the knife, before you pick up the gun, there's several factors or boundaries of violence that have already taken place. So one of the first things what we understand when we start talking about violence is emotional violence. Now, emotional violence can take form of in the form of bullying. It can take place in the form of bullying. Verbally, one can be experience emotional violence. Then we move from the bullying into physical violence. So this is where you're getting hitting, slapping, punching. This is now physical violence. So when we talk about beating our children, that's now physical violence.
Of course.
So that's one stage, and then we move it on another level where we start saying, okay, then we're going to use some sort of object to inflict violence. So violence is about causing hurt and pain to somebody. So when you're inflicting violence on somebody, one of the interesting things about violence is like a charge. If you inflict violence on somebody, it charges them up in the violence. They almost have to discharge that somewhere else.
Yes, definitely.
So a child that is getting bullied within the home, let's just say, will go to school and discharge that on somebody else because they've got to get rid of, they can't maintain that charge of violence up within their system. They have to discharge the violence.
But it will never all be discharged. That anxiety will hang around.
But that anxiety will hang around. So, so these are the things when we start talking about violence. One of the issues around violence, because again, I want to deal with this point very quickly, is around our perception of the situation that we're currently in can't get no better. No, violence is like a communicable disease. It's like a disease, and we all know that. For example, exactly if something happens between one group of young people from another group of young people, there's going to be some sort of retaliation towards that. Just I'm saying, they've hurt my. We heard it before. An eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind. I believe it was Gandhi that said that. So there's some sort of retaliation that wants to take place there. So violence spreads. There's so you can cure violence, but we have to break up the transmission of violence is one of the issues that we have to do. We have to get in there and break up the transmission of violence.
Does that mean helping assisting another form of communication?
Yes. So when I say break up, that means basically getting into things like conflict resolution, resolving conflicts.
All right, well, I mean, so far, all right, solutions, we're really looking at the main thing, parents, the connection between parents and children.
Their children.
Yes.
And adults and children across the board.
Across the board, right.
Across the board.
Village to raise a child?
A village to raise a child.
We haven't heard that phrase today.
Yes. Yes.
I think that's the phrase that usually comes out when we're speaking about youth or children.
Yes. It's one that's it's probably banded around too loosely.
A bit too, yes.
And I'll refer to my esteemed colleagues and what he said most recently on a video that he put out, Craig Pinckney, Bigger Craig. It says, not does it only take everyone to raise a child in terms of the village, but it also takes a village to raise a killer.
Yes.
More significantly, that message also resonated with me. So if we have killers in our midst, then we also have to look at the community,
definitely,
or the village that is around that child.
Good, definitely, yes, and definitely because we raise good, we're raising bad, same ways. We're raising the coin. The coin has two sides.
That's right.
Yeah, and we are bringing up.
That's right.
It's a product of us.
That's right.